Я не живу в большом городе.
Morning. How are you? Okay. So we start our second day of our cross-border meeting. Good morning. I hope yesterday we had the chance to acquire useful conclusions, and today we can proceed to the second day of our meeting with additional highly useful and scientific speeches. So we continue to start our day with Mr. Mubasser Al-Sehane from Al-Bahra University from Jordan with the topic successful implementation of new tourism services in Jordan through the use of risk management techniques.
Good morning. I will introduce myself firstly. I am Professor Wasim Sikhani from Jordan. I have studied in Germany. I have finished my PhD in Ghana physics in Germany, material science, and the second PhD also in Germany in cultural anthropology. I'm now currently working in Jordan as a professor at the University of Yarmouk and collaborated with the Bahra University. We have some steps to create a risk management plan for artifacts, for sites, archaeological sites, and cultural heritage. It's very important to put conservation management plan and risk management plan. I will speak about some examples from Jordan. We have done it with my master students. The first step to create a risk management plan, we have to identify the risk, also assess the risk to minimize and eliminating the risks, to assign responsibility for every task, for developing new plans in conservation, and to make monitoring a new risk. The holistic approach is important. Our specialty, it's important to have multidisciplinary system. We have multidisciplinary system, interdisciplinary system. If we work in risk management plan, capture heritage, you have to visit many approaches. Also, always I have an approach. I said always to my students, to researcher, if you would like to be an excellent conservator in cultural heritage, you have to reach the reach. The reach, I bring the first R is the relativistic approach. The second one is adaptive approach. Then C, comparative approach. H, the holistic approach. These 5 steps are very important to start in this direction, the direction of conservation of cultural heritage. Also, I have written this in contrast to the traditional scientific method. Tends to look for the specificity of each part. Aristoteles, he is a Greek, Aristoteles' core principle remains the whole is more than the sum of its parts. While the modern concepts looking for, this is our concept now, the holistic concept, which I have spoken before. If you would like to be a good scientist, an excellent conservator, archaeologist, anthropologist, everything, you have to reach to understand this 5 steps in this approach. The risk management perspective of the variance in relation among the elements that interacts. Until now, the Aristoteles principle works. We have to identify the magnitude of the risk and level of priority. You can see here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors means the magnitude of the risk. The magnitude of the risk, we don't have a time, but you can see the priority to conserve, to restore an object or sites, archaeological sites and cultural heritage. You have to follow these things. As example, the blue one, the green one, the orange, yellow, the extreme one. The first one is catastrophic priority. We have to do it. Like Palmyra in Syria, which was damaged full from Daesh, from this direction in Syria, it's fully damaged. A Pale Temple is completely damaged, 100%. And too much parts of the city are damaged. It needs priority, the red one. But we work now in the medium priority, low priority, high priority. That's depend on the damage of the site or the object. We have this example. One of my master students, they have done this work in Gerasa. Gerasa is one city of Decapolis city. There's 10 cities in Palestine and Jordan. We have 10 cities. They are established from Alexander the Great in Jordan. You can see here Hippos, Gadara, Rafana, Dion, Bela, Gerasa, Philadelphia, Kanata, and Damascus. Most of the names are in Greece now also. Alexander the Great was born in 356 BC and died 323 BC. It's about 33 years old, not more than. This is the gates of Hippodrome. Hippodrome, I don't know, you know Hippodrome. Hippodrome where the horses are make tracks of horses. The Hippodrome is a Greek word. I asked only our colleagues in Jordan and in Palestine, not the other they are Greek, they know everything about these names. I have used finite element analysis to analyze the risk management to this site, Gerasa, in Jordan. This is the finite element analysis for risk management of cultural heritage. We have used some software to make this simulation and to see the cracks. In the arch of the gate of the Hippodrome. We have done also, there's icons in Jordan, the baptism place, baptism in Jordan. We have conserved and restored many icons in this holy site, the baptism. The people were in this site, they are from Greece, all of them. This is conservation of a Christian religious icon that will greet feasts from Baptism Museum using zinc oxide nanoparticle. I have done too much work in nanotechnology. 18th century icon of Russian origin is Orthodox feast. When Orthodox feast, in the baptism site, here in Jordan. These are some examples. You can see the examples here before and after. It needs conservation. There is management is very important for some. This is the you can see the conservation and epitaphos. Trinos, textile icon from the market in Jerusalem in Jordan. We have more than 50 icons, but until now we have conserved 5 pieces. You can see it before and after. We don't have time to speak how we have done this work. It is a masterpiece. Some method we have used for transformation, infrared, Raman spectroscopy, scanning electron microscopy, ICP, MS, ICP, OS, many spectroscopy we have used, FTIR mapping, also imaging. The concept of integrated risk assessment and holistic approach, we have spoken about it. We have spoken about Aristotle's. Until now, we use Aristotle's approach in multidisciplinary approach. This wall painting, also not far from the other site, Girasa, it's in Al-Husn. The painter Piet Gerrits is very famous now in Netherlands. In the Netherlands, he's very famous. He has about 5 wall painting in Al-Husn Church. Thank you for your attention.
Very much, Mr. Russell.
Topic was successful implementation including challenges in Jordan, including use of risk management techniques. We proceed now to the next speaker. It will be Professor Yasser Jaber Tsuki from the Arab Academy of Science, Technology and Maritime Transport from Italy. The topic is Living Lab and its role to enhance the AASTNG, means the Arab Academy of Science, Technology and Maritime Transport. So, Living Lab and its role to enhance the AASTNG towards SDGs. Professor London.
Okay.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about the implementation of SDGs through the MedQuad, and I'm going to take the Arab Academy as a model for that. But first of all, let me tell you the topics of my lecture. It's about the definition of the SDGs, and how the MedQuad did cover the SDGs and talk about some activities for this water living lab. And then we're going to take about the Times for Higher Education, which is an institution to show the competition between universities in towards the SDGs. First of all, the Sustainable Development Goals. We are talking about goals, something we are all targeting to do. We're talking about something sustainable to maintain and to last for a long time. So, sustainability means success. And we developed many terminologies like sustainable transportation, sustainable education. We're talking about something to stay for a long time and to live with some factors to make sure that they will live for a long time. And that's how the SDGs come from. And they were announced by the United Nations, which is something universal, and they encouraged everyone, citizens, countries, institutions, to adopt some factors. If we do them, we will reach to the sustainable life. That's why the United Nations put 17 goals to achieve in different disciplines to make sure that the human beings will live in welfare. These 17 goals is the right of the human beings, okay, to live with no poverty, with zero hunger, with the right of the human being to have good health and well-being, the right of the human being for quality of education, good quality of education, the gender equality, the right of the people to have clean water and sanitation, to have affordable and clean energy, to have decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, to reduce the inequalities, to achieve sustainable cities and communities, to achieve responsible consumption and production, to make sure of the good climate and to take actions against the climate change, to offer even life below water for these creations, even good life for life on the land, to achieve peace, justice, and strong institutions, and finally to have partnerships between these groups. So these are the 17 goals, which are called the SDGs, and they are actually intersection between the social needs and the environmental aspects, and not to forget about the economic situation of the people who are living, so that the section between these three pillars are achieving the sustainability. And to be honest, even the United Nations put on the website the definition of these goals and the methodology to achieve, and they are helping people and institutions to do that through the website. And even they are trying to merge between similar SDGs just to decrease the number and to make them more applicable. And if you go to the site of the SDGs in the United Nations, you'll find as I said, information about them, about the definition, about some statistics as well. So it's a good thing that you navigate on the website. For example, this is SGD 17. You'll find 17.1, 17.2, and even they break that to 17.11. So under each line, you'll find definition and what they are, what are these sub goals, and some ideas to achieve them, and some statistics, as I said. And you will find also some publications about that. So the United Nations are helping the society even to achieve these SDGs. Okay, so this is an idea about the SDGs. Of course, the MedQuad project is a project. It's built on the SDGs as well, and it's if you review even the thematic objectives we have been through, you'll find some terminologies about the development and the social development and promote economics. These vocabularies are actually taken from the SDGs. Okay, and even the idea of the quadruple helix, it's cooperation between academia, industry, society. These things are coping very well with the concept of the SDGs. And of course, I'm sure that you are very aware of these things which we promised to achieve from the day zero of this project. These are the expected results we promised to do, and I think we are doing very well in achieving them. And if just to save time, I will go now to the correlation between the MedQuad and the SDGs. As I said, if you look at the general objective of the MedQuad, is to create the condition for an effective interaction between the three main innovation players: higher education, research, government, and firms. And we have also some specific objectives to do that. And if you look at also the specific objectives we designed the project to do, is enhanced demand-driven technological transfer among research industry and SMEs, increased commercialization opportunities of research products. And if you look at the definition of the SDGs, you will find that matching very well with some SDGs in particular. For example, if you compare between the general objective of the project and what the quality of education is stating, it's very well matching between them, because if the objective of the project to create conditions for effective interaction between three main innovation players, the higher education, research, governmental institution, this is actually the main meaning of the quality of education. So even the objective of MedQuad is matching very well with SG4, for example. Okay, because if you look at 4.4.1, by definition, it's proportion of youth and adults with information and communications technology skills by type of skills. So as you can see, the matching between even the words of the definition of SDG4 and what we decided to have and so on. I will just try to save time and I will share this with you. So if you read again the objectives of the project and the definitions of some SDGs, you'll find them achievable. Also, one of the objectives one of the SDGs is SDG 9. Again, if you read the general objectives, to create conditions and an effective interaction between players. And if you read the definition of the target of 9.5 for SDG 9, you'll find that it has specific research upgrade. I know it's the font is very small to you to see from your seat, but I can read. I'm reading for you this small font things here. It's enhanced specific research, upgrade the technological capabilities of industrial sectors, blah blah blah. So as you can see, even the terminologies of the SDGs by United Nations is coping with our objective for mid-quad. And if we go this way, okay, I made this comparison and I can share that with you, so you can review that yourself. And even in SDG 17, okay, the mid-quad contributes through the practical application of the concepts of civic universities, okay. And this, I made this matching between the mid-quad and the general objective, the mid-quad and some SDGs. Then I break that down into the specific objectives of mid-quad and also with the SDGs. So the specific objective of mid-quad, even to enhance the technological infrastructure in the universities towards water research and applications. And this is actually, you can find them in SDG 6 for clean water and desalination. And also one of the specific objectives of the mid-quad is also to enhance the research work and enhance the awareness of the society towards heritage conservation. And this can be found also in SDG 11. Okay, so I made this matching one time, okay, between the mid-quad and the SDGs, okay. And we've proven that by activities. For example, for the research work we have done in water lab, okay, in that we've done MOU between our university and the National Research Center and the drinking water of Alexandria as well. And yes, I've done the same analysis. I break that down to very detailed comparison between what we've done in SDG 6, as you said, and even with the group in the beginning of the project, we have done a survey. It was led by our colleagues in PP1 in Greece. We did a survey for the quality of the drinking of the water for the society, and we filled that with Alexandria as a case study. It is very useful for the drinking water when we show them the survey, the result of the survey. We've done that with them. Okay. The last thing I would like to mention is to take some benchmark, okay, to make sure that did we, as a project partners, achieve in our universities the goal we have designed. So I took the times for higher education as a benchmark, okay, and I'll show you how I've done that. So maybe you can even share this exercise between us, and I'll show you how we've done that in our university as a model, and you can actually do that in universities, and you send this feedback to me. We can have a report even in our technical reports to show how our universities, the 6 universities in the project, okay, have achieved and enhanced their adaptation of SDGs in the university. So, as for the Times for Higher Education introduction, for them it's a well-known news agency. Everyone is knowing that, and they produce a newsletter and even in some specifications like in sports and economics and financial times, and they decided even to stress on the higher education. Okay, so they actually created something called Times for Higher Education, and then with time they made competition between universities all over the world. Okay, one of them is World University Ranking. There is some methodology they announced it, and they are asking the universities to submit an application or a profile each year, and they compare between them, and they announce that each year. It's called World University Ranking, and sometimes they do regional ranking between the Arab ranking or Asian or African or whatever. Okay, this is another way to compare universities between themselves, taking care and taking into account the geographic of the place or the economical situation, if they are just neighbors, so they have common between them. And these two, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the third one, which is a new competition, and I think this is the fifth cycle this year, fifth or sixth, maybe less, I'm not sure, but it's recent, absolutely recent. They announced a competition between all the universities in the world to measure the degree of adaptation of the university to the SDGs. So this is very specific to the, and it's called Times Impact Ranking. Okay, and we're expecting, by the way, to have the new result by the end of this month and the first of next month. So they will announce the next cycle. All the universities submitted their application last November, and we're expecting the result this. So what I'm showing you is the result of my university last year. Okay, and but we can do that this year, and as I said, we can do this as a report in the project. So they have, as I told you, they're asking every university to submit a profile. So they have a methodology, and they announce it. Okay, for example, in SDG 1, they have a metric. They are asking about how the university is adopting the research on poverty, for example, and they have a weight for that 27, and they have a question, and of course, they bring this down. I'm not going through this line. I'm just talking about general research on poverty. How this touch? Sorry, I thought this is not okay. I'm not touching. So research development 27%, community and development programs 23%, university and development programs 23%, and proportion of students receiving financial aid and that is 100% of the rate. Okay, and they're asking the university to submit points how they do that. Okay, and you can imagine they are doing that for the 17 SDGs. Okay, and then of course they compare between them and they announce the result. Okay, so this is the result of my university in each one. So I'll try to be quick. And then they're asking for evidence. Each university has to submit evidence for that. Okay, and it's submitted online, and they are doing data collection through a portal. And the evidence should be public, the evidence should be clear, the evidence should be general, sorry, not general, specific. And then they assess every document the university submits, and they give them grades or marks. And how they assess the final, they consider SDGs 2017 as a model SG, and then they take the best 3 of the other 16 SGs for each university. And this is the way they put 22% for SG7, and they take the best 3 and they put them equal 26. Okay? So, for example, the last year, our university, we got 41 out of 100, that this is the weight of the SDGs, the undergraduate. And we have the best 3 SDGs, SDG7, we submitted the 17 ones, 17 SDGs, okay? And the best ones then to us, SDG7, okay, this is the mark, not the weight, and this is the energy, cost, okay? It's and SDG4, okay, education, got 70, and SDG8, okay, we got almost 60. And if you multiply this equation, we got 68, right? And we were ranked, okay, 400, first 400 out of 1,100 universities, okay? And nationally in Egypt, we were 6. Okay, out of 36 years. This is for the overall. And for each SG, okay, we got 22 worldwide out of 700 submitted profiles for this specific SG. And we were the first nationally in education. Okay, so these are the best. And even in other SGs, we were 100 in SG. This one, 200 in this one, 208, 100 in education. So we were almost in the first places in most of the SGs. Okay, and this is the thing I will ask the other 5 universities to do. So you can have like a report, having a benchmark. You can do that starting from 2000, the start of the project to the end of the project, and you can see, and we can hopefully, of course, hopefully we should find some improvement in our SDGs in the universities, and can actually make sure, claim, if you are not wrong, that the main part contributed in a way or another for improvement of our education for SDGs, because we have labs, we have done research, we have cooperation, and these things were factors in the application. I will not go through the details. I've shown how we've done that in my university, but I think the idea now is clear. And again, that was in the past. No, that was, I think, the comparison between our university and one of our Susa University. Okay, and I showed them. So maybe this year we can see how we have improved. Okay, and these are some of the activities we have done through the MedQuad as well. And this is Nancy. She's done the heritage, and as you can see the logo of the after lab. And this is the governor of Port Said, okay, with the president of the academy. So these are some of the activities we have done. We submitted that to the SDGs profile 11, and we have done improvement. And this is also some activities. And that's it.
For your very interesting speech and presentation. It was Professor Yasser Gabriel from the Arab Academy of Science, Technology and Maritime Transport. Professor Dessouky, who is also the Dean of Scientific Research and Innovation of the University. So now I'm calling to the floor the next speaker, who is Professor Yasser Mohtasi from Palestine Polytechnic University. who will talk us about the topic of 3D printing scale models representing 3D laser scan historical buildings. Professor Gordon Martin.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jason Kassem. My presentation is the 3D printing scale model like this. Representing 3D landmarks and historical building in Tokyo. I'm speaking on behalf of our colleagues in the Archero Lab, the team of Archero Lab. My city is Hebron. It's one of the oldest cities in Palestine. It has a lot of heritage buildings because of its special architecture and historical and cultural values. Okay, and so going to digitalization, such buildings will lead to get the database for these buildings, and so we can do deep studies on these data for my university and other universities. When we do digitization, of course, we go to heritage preservation of these buildings. The method of digitalization, heritage object or building, is process involves measuring physical object or building and through the scanner and then processing the data till we get the prototype like this. Okay, or method already model in the computer, and after we get the model, we can reproduce or reconstruct this building or restore it. We have in Archero Lab equipment, 3D scanner and 3D printer, a 3D printer. We use them through the case study, which will be mentioned. Okay, the process. The process is start from selecting the size of the object you want, then do the scanning through the laser scanner, then reconstruct it and create a 3D model. Of course, we need software, and software there's a lot of software for dealing with data taken from laser scanner. Then we can get a geometrical model like this. Okay, for software, when we take the body cloud from from the scanner, dealing with this data is very challenging. Because we deal with millions of bones, okay, millions of cloud bones, and software really face a big challenge to deal with this data. So we use more than one software to connect between these bones. Okay, because for example, for the first case study I will mention later, the data, the cloud bones reach more than 280 million bones. Okay, and to mesh between these points is not easy. Also for software, because software may have more than one solution. Okay, for connecting these points. This is the first challenge, and this is the big challenge. face us and face also software. Because we deal with more than one software. This software is set up for the scanning the data. This software will be used to process the data, compile the software to print and to scale the model. First case study, we'll go to Imam Ali School, which is an old building in Iran, the primary school for boys. This is the photo. Of course, the team carry out the scanning of this certain building with the cooperation of our colleagues in civil department. Okay. After we scan the data, then we have to process it from through the software. If you can see here, all the picture of the data and the feature of the sun cross each other. Okay, then you have to process more and more to eliminate what you don't want, then to get the model winner. This is not a photo. This is 3D multi-cloud photo. Yeah, if we scale it larger, the software, you can see the bones. Okay, millions of bones. The second challenge is to create or to convert these bones to mesh and to surfaces, to build the surfaces between these meshed bones. Okay, and as I mentioned, building the surfaces is also many get surfaces are needed and you have to remove it and retain another one. Okay. Also, the last service we get is better more or less, but need more and more way to get the best surface. Then we can then go to printing. Okay. This is the first case study. The second was to the old place, which is built on the Rome at Hebron. This is the photo of it. It's another place. Okay, we carried out the scanning, and these are the features, the scan features of this art. The third case study was to print a model, but we don't scale this model. Other team scan this, and we deal with it and print it through the printer and the RPO level. And this is the idea of this presentation. Thank you for listening. His wife Sarah and his children Yaqub and Ismail.
this meeting. My name is Zaid Al-Qadar. This time, I have baccalaureate degree in biotechnology and genetic engineering from Philadelphia University in Jordan. Worked lab supervisor in biotechnology unit at University. This center have three different groups here. First one is biomedical research group and animal health research group and agricultural research group. Palestine Political University and Biotechnology, Palestine Korea Biotechnology Research collaborate with different sectors in Palestine to solve the problems which the local community face. Private sectors and public organizations and government sector. My presentation of water sampling and testing results in Gimborn district for human and agricultural usage. Project outline, I will talk about background on project objective, methodology and sampling strategy, biological and chemical assay and results. Finally, conclusion. Water quality refer to chemical and biological characteristics of water based on standard use. Water quality important for human consuming and agricultural usage and industrial and domestic use. In Palestine, not on the specific water for irrigation by government and Ministry of Agriculture, because the farmers depended on drinking water and underground groundwater for irrigation. Chemical contamination pesticides and herbicides. The biological contamination caused by the presence of living organisms such as parasites and protozoa, viruses, and bacteria. The quality assessment water depending on laboratory-based and chemical uses and staff and time consuming. This point time consuming is very important for this test. This is traditional method for test water quality. This traditional we use the volume of water is 1 liter to test the quality of water. This to test the filtration of water from a main filter by suction and put the filter in place, put the filter in membrane, put the filter in neutral media for specific bacteria filter to recover and put it and we get the fillet. Not to capture the water and get bacteria. We get the diet, diet bacteria after some cool water. We get the fillet. Maybe fillet will not seem to eye, well eye. And then we use 100 liter of water. We use 100 liter of samples from fillet and put it in real time VCR. This machine is very important. So this real time we put 100 liter in PCR reaction and get the result. This result after the reaction on PCR machine. The time we use this modern method 1 hour to 2 hours to forget the results in this reaction. Project objective. Products. Methodology, sample collection, biological test, DNA test, chemical and physical test. This picture, we visit the two farms in Hebron and collect two samples from underground water from the farm. Okay. Then we treated 100 liter of sample after sample group sample and put it in real time PCR and this the result after reaction. This table, the result of real time PCR reaction for farm A and farm B. We use specific primers for detect the bacteria, specific bacteria for pathogenic bacteria, polymerase. We use primers for Salmonella bacteria and E. coli bacteria. And we take the sample from direct sample, and after that we culture the sample in healthy media to compare the result. Part A, direct sample, take positive control or positive result for Salmonella and positive result for E. coli. And comparing culture bacteria positive for Salmonella and positive for E. coli. And the same in another farm, in farm B, direct sampling takes 1 hour and culture sample 24 hours. And we can see positive results in the farms for Salmonella and E. coli. This figure products the PCR real-time PCR result for two bacteria together, not one separate. Together the result of bacteria. This speaks indicate the presence of bacteria from the reaction. Chemical methods. This is the link real-time monitoring. So we are trying data, collect data from the farm now. We collect data productivity data. Including the chemical water quality and biological water quality assay were optimized. This is the equal value of of agriculture with no help. Cross-border population to increase and enhance water quality and efficient water use. We went back to show a result data online from the farm. Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh. Mm. Yes. Yeah. Mm. 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 Yes, yes, yes. I don't know. No, no, no. It's just this thing that mm. Okay. You can see this data from actually now in parts in Hebron. Every day we collect the data from the farms underground.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we will proceed with the presentation from Professor Hedi Fares. Professor, do you hear us? Good morning. Good morning. Okay.
You see my screen?
Yes. Just a moment.
Okay. Can I begin?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay. I will talk about digitalization of archaeological objects, especially the 3D and the 3D printing in the service of the museum. My work contains the three following points. After the introduction, I will talk about the using technology. Secondly, the utility of digitalization
For music and archaeology, and third, some applications, and finally, conclusion. As an introduction, within the framework of MedQuad project, we are, sorry, just a minute. We are describing some archaeological objects that are exposed in the archaeological museums of Sousse, Tunisia, or deposited in its reserves. To do this, we use the 3D material. 3D technology offers, in fact, to museum conservators, researchers, and archaeologists new tools to digitalize and reproduce a 3D object or artifacts, as well as the new perspectives of archaeological and patrimonial research. Researchers or conservators can then study the digitalized objects, restore them, or archive them with much more details than sample photos. They can also design real or virtual visits. The technology used, we worked in fact with very advanced technological equipment such as the 3D laser scanner, shining 3D AIMScan SP, as you see in the screen, and a 3D printer. You have in the right the printing of a stamped amphora fragment, and a laptop computer with very well performance. And on the right you see all the material, the scan, 3D scan, the 3D print, and the laptop. The second point in my presentation is the utility of digitalization for museums. First of all, modernization of archaeological inventory methods and realization of digital and interactive databases. In fact, the inventory is one of the priorities for any work on cultural heritage. It is the condition for its knowledge, its preservation, and its valorization. With digitalization, the inventory became more modern because with the 3D scanner and the 3D printer, the study of the object is more scientific, and its conservation, its valorization, its mediation, and especially its academic, educational, and cultural exploitation will be easier. The object will then concern a rather large public. The second point, designing exhibitions and virtual towers in the framework of a living lab or a museum lab. Digitizing archaeological objects will in fact allow for virtual exhibitions and circuits, 3D copies, virtual and augmented realities,
facilitate the exploitation of the museum's holdings in various frameworks such as academic, educational, and cultural mediation. The development of virtual museums is driven by the global rise of 3D printing and particularly 3D scanners. Startups will be able to capture with the help of 3D scanners some of the treasures of our museums, such as the Archaeological Museum of Sousse, the Bardo Museum, Carthage, etc., to allow virtual visits. The experience of the Museum of Sousse in 2019 to scan the statue of Hercules and Antaeus, accessible via an internet application and via a QR code, will make the museum an interactive 3D establishment in a virtual and augmented reality. Through augmented reality, the fragment of the statuary groups is restored in 3 dimensions by telling the visitor, after a reminder of the 12 works of Hercules, the fight of the hero with Antaeus. As you see in the screen, here you have the statuary block. After that, we proceed to the digitalization of the statues of Hercules and Antaeus and its reconstruction using augmented reality, the treatment of laptop, and finally a copy restored and augmented with the new technology. Thirdly, bringing heritage closer to a public with special needs, for example, facilitating access to heritage for the blind and visually impaired person through 3D printing. Thanks to 3D printing, museums now exhibit reproductions of their historical work and objects. Visitors can handle, touch, feel, and photograph them without risk of damaging the original pieces. The managers and mediators of the Museum of Sousse, for example, have even allowed blind people to discover some archaeological objects, mosaics, sculpture, ceramics, through 3D printing. These objects had been reproduced in relief, allowing them to touch and feel the work in great detail and even to read the corresponding tactile notes written in braille. A new and original way to feel the object and reconstruct the atmosphere. This category of visitors would make their visit independently of their handicap first and then of the mediator. And here we have some examples of the artifacts that digitalized and 3D printing. In the left, we have an Okwe reproduced with the technology of 3D technology, and in the right, mosaics reproduced in relief and which represent the god ocean. Here we have mosaics of Neptune, Poseidon, preserved and in the Sousse Museum. In the left, we have the original mosaics and the reproduction, relief reproduction with tactile table with the bright text. And in the right, you have the presentation of the work of, for a group of blind visitors. Other point is to anticipate risks. For example, disaster, revolt, epidemic, example, COVID-19. Some objects or archaeological sites are threatened either by conflict, natural disaster, or simply by dilapidation. It is possible to digitize these historical sites or objects in order to keep a trace of them or even to be able to reconstruct them. On the other hand, a health crisis or an epidemic like COVID-19 could paralyze our activities, interrupt our mobility, and deprive us of any cultural activity. The digitalization of archaeological heritage, object sites, or museums is one of the best solutions to manage such a situation. Digitalization has many benefits for a museum and archaeology. For example, with the digitalization, we can have more details, facilitate access to museum and cultural heritage, restore or reproduce historical objects, etc. Concerning applications in our lab at SUS, we digitalize some artifacts like the Christian heritage and ceramics. For the Christian heritage, we digitalize some of Byzantine terracotta tiles and oil lamps. In fact, Christian terracotta tiles are important element of church decoration, especially in Africa during the Byzantine era. They were used to cover the roof and wall of these religious monuments, molded and decorated in relief. These artifacts represent a variety of themes, phytomorphic, zoomorphic, architectural, and especially biblical themes like Adam and Eve, the sacrifice of Abraham, miracles of Christ, Daniel in the lion's den, Saint Theodore, the four rivers of paradise, etc. And we have some examples of the terracotta tiles. Here we have the digitalization of one of them, a tiles which represent the figure of Christ, and on the right we see here the result of the digitalization. We can manipulate the object and see it in 3D dimension. We can exploit this object in academic research or in museum representation for various many variety of visitors. Here we have another example, the Theodore. It's terracotta tiles digitalized by our materials. Some of lamps, the Christian lamps. Here in the left we have the digitalization of an oil lamp. In the right, the treatment and processing by computer. And finally, this photo represents the 3D printing of the lamp after digitalization and treatment by computer. We have digitalized some ceramics artifacts. Example, stamped amphora. We have some amphora which compound a stamp. And we reconstruct a database of this material. Here we have the object, the treatment with the laptop, and here we have the 3D scanner and the digitalization of this small amphora. And this is the result. Here in the right we have the original piece. Here a photo augmented of this African amphora, which name is Spateon, produced in the workshop of Neapolis, our neighbor in Tunisia, and which have a chronology of the 6th century AD. And in the left, we have a fragment of the stamp. We have a text written in the amphora. The next slide, we have some other stamps, and here we have the result of our digitalization of this type of materials with 3D reproduction, and we can manipulate or this object as well as we can. Fragment of amphora with the stamp. Here's some terracotta figurine, zoomorphic or anthropomorphic figurine, digitalized and which are conserved in the Museum of Sousse. As a conclusion, we say after this brief presentation, we would like to insist on the importance of digitalizing archaeological objects and museums collection. The digitalization of heritage collection could in fact serve the modernization of the technique and method of inventory facilitate the restoration and conservation of archaeological objects and exploit them in the creation of applications based on virtual or augmented reality, reproduce 3D copies that could substitute the object, especially for non-academic users or those with special needs, example the blind, and designing exhibition and virtual visit, especially during the crisis period. Our team, we are four professors, Mr. Mrabat, Ms. Rashad Abdeshir, and Mr. Sufyan Ben Musa, and me. Well, I didn't find my own sheet in the page of Facebook. And we have five students, five great Tunisian students, which have five subjects, which work in five subjects in the framework of Mediquad project. Thank you for your attention.
You can share your screen.
Okay. Just I wait my PowerPoint. Yeah, just 1 second. The application is very slow. Sorry for this delay, my laptop is very slow. Okay. You see my screen? Okay, I make the full screen. Okay, can I start?
Yes, you can proceed.
I present for this data. My name is Ahmad from University of Sus. I am an assistant professor in communication engineering. In our cross-boarding meeting, I am going to talk about water efficiency and digital archaeology. Represent the first two main parts of method project. As I mentioned before, my presentation contains two parts. The first one is about, I will talk about efficiency, water efficiency. That contain three sub-projects. The first one is about smart irrigation systems, smart metering, and smart packaging. The main target of these parts is to create a soft living lab with the participation of the university and government and society and industry to make a equitable system. The second part of the presentation, we talk about digital archaeology that contains three sub-projects. The first one is smart river reconstruction, augmented reality and custom science. Similarly, the main target of this part is to create archaeology in land. The water efficiency contains the first part of my the water efficiency project contains three parts. The first one is the smart irrigation system, second smart packaging, third one smart water system. For the smart irrigation system, we have chosen two blocks inside the High Institute of Agronomy, SUS, Tunisia, as shown in these slides. The first one and the second one blocks. Specifically, the first block contained 1,000 square meter. The type of plants, green vegetables like lettuce, spinach, and dates. The distance from the reservoir, as shown in the photos, is about 300 meters. The second plot with the surface of 3,000 square meter, sorry, for the type of plants is of fruit trees like orange. With water reservoir for the plot one, we reserve some water system, water irrigation system. Our proposed hydraulic plant and equipment is shown in this figure with drip irrigation system and with autonomous capabilities. The second plot contains 1,060 trees of orange, and the proposed hydraulic climate equipment is shown in these photos with autonomous system and smart system. For in the aim to ensure the high quality of water for each plant, we use the tree sensor network station to fix the physical-chemical properties that can be adequate for each plant. And the sensor can be measure some physical-chemical parameters like pH level, salinity, sodium, calcium, nitrate, and temperature. In our approach to design is the following data about the information. We reserve some from 5 networks, wireless sensor networks, to collect the data from the soil, like soil moisture, salinity, air humidity, pluviometer, wind burn. This is the parameter to fix the quantity of water delivered for each plant in the aim to save the water. This is the flow information data for software application. In our approach, we design intelligent and autonomous system using IoT sensor, cloud platform, and smart farm application. This system is it's very complex because it should be in cloud and local and online service and autonomous service with the application of artificial intelligence. This is the design, the proposed design for mobile application for the smartphones. The first one is the main menu that, for example, made by the project University of Sousse, Tunisia. And, if, for example, you choose the irrigation management, you can, for example, select the well, the reservoir, the valves, and you can make on-off online, remotely controlled. And the other screenshot is about the humidity, that we can detect the humidity or each soil parameters for each plant to deliver the adequate quantity of water. These some screenshots about our applications, mobile application, that can be get some statistical about the water consumption by month, by hour, by days. And the other one is about the production technical, plowing technical, treatment and pesticide harvesting techniques. For example, treatment and pesticide, we will try to minimize the pesticide to make a biological products. This is the application, mobile application for the smartphones. The second part of water efficiency project, the sub-project is about the smart packaging. To respond the needs of international market of agronomy, made in the European Union, we design a smart packaging system that contains all the information about agronomy of products. To get this information, we can just use your smartphone to get all the information about your package. For example, how plants, which the zone of plants, and logistics to respect the expiry date. And if, for example, some plants can be over the expiry date. Is where some alert message can be displayed on your smartphones. This is in this context we have developed a solution of traceability and geotagging with remotely control from the farm to the consumer, because the consumers should be now the origin of the plants and all the chemical products put it in the soil. This is our design the prototype with detailed architecture. We put some text in the box. For example, this box of 6 pieces, and this the conveyor to check the quantity, the delivered quantity for the specific customer. Like, for example, the shipping, the delivery, and traceability in the track. And we can control your products in real time, wherever, anytime. With a smart application. The last one of water efficiency project is the sub-project about the smart water systems. Here, to involve the public sector in the project for the solar with the national company for the use and the distribution water in Tunisia. We have developed a solution to control and distribute the water by using the smart wireless sensor networks. Because as you know, the quantity of water is decreasing. An example of the three reservoir that we can install the three sensor wireless networks by using LoRa technology. In this the three sensor wireless networks that can be controlled all the physical chemical parameters of the water and deliver the specific quantity of water for each suburb. Finally, for this the first project about the water efficiency. The main target of this sub-project, water efficiency, it is to create a smart living town based on the research development, implementation program and costs, public-private startup, and technology transfer. Is our target for this project of water efficiency. The second project is about digital archaeology, like my colleague talk about this project. I can add some information for the project to enhance the quality of archaeological sites and the tourism sector. We try to develop some solution based on smart reconstruction, like smarter construction using some software like Autodesk, like Google SketchUp and some other software tools. And we can use the virtual reality and augmented reality technology and the traceability technology using RFID techniques. For the reconstruction, for the smarter construction, we can the first step to put to scan each slice, and we can with you are using a 3D printer, you can reconstitute every parts of the object in 3D dimension. The second one is the virtual augmented reality. We will, in this sub-project, we will try to digitalize some archaeological sites, such as in Sus, the catacomb of Sus, as shown in these photos. And you can make a virtual visit using VR glasses and the 3D scanners, and digital camera, and the software, the 3D software like AutoCAD from Autodesk. Okay. The last one of the digital archaeology sub-project is to use the RFID archaeological system. RFID radio frequency identification. How to identify each object with electronic system. The existence is using the barcode or QR code, but it's printed. But this one is the electronic tag. It's very important because we can put in this tag all the information about the object. And you, by simple application in your smartphone, you can get all the information about this object. Okay. The RFID system consists to put an RFID tag at the top before on each size object. Each tag contains all the information, including the geometry, because it's very important to include the geometry for reconstruction of the original origin of object. And by using the artificial intelligence, we can reconstitute the 3D digital form. After that, we can use also the origin or the real reconstruction to complete the object using the 3D printer, as shown by my colleague, Dr. Henry. Similarly, finally, of this sub-project, similarly, the main target of this sub-project is to create an archaeo living lab with the participation of the research and development group, development implementation, new program and courses, and with the co-program to participate public and private startup and transfer, technology transfer. Finally, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor. We
Okay. Thank you.